We are covering Colorado First at 6 o'clock for you tonight. The government shutdown headed into its third week.
And it is taking its toll. The nation's top nuclear weapons agency announcing it is furloughing about 80% of its workers due to a lack of funding. The Supreme Court and federal courts are also reducing operations, and the Army Corps of Engineers is pausing $11 billion in projects. The Senate will take up a bill next week to pay federal employees, but it's unclear if it will pass. Your political reporter Sean Boyd continues to track the fallout from the government shutdown.
We're all wondering, are they any closer to reaching an agreement?
No. Neither party is budging an inch. House Republicans passed a short-term funding bill, but it can't get out of the Senate without Democratic support. And Democrats have tied that support to an extension of health care subsidies. Caught in the middle are two groups of people whose lives hang in the balance: federal workers struggling to pay their bills and regular Americans struggling to afford health insurance. The Federal Center in Lakewood is the largest concentration of federal agencies outside of D.C. 6,000 Coloradans work here, including Brenda Karsten.
It's been really rough for a lot of us.
She's worked in the Social Security Administration for the last decade and says morale is at an all-time low.
They've redeployed a lot of our customer service representatives, and there's just long wait times. People are, in the office and on the phones, feeling like we're failing every day when we go into work. It's devastating.
Karsten among those required to work during the shutdown without pay.
And then now we're being threatened with maybe not getting paid at all after the shutdown.
A shutdown tangled up in a battle over health insurance subsidies for people who buy insurance on the exchange. They expire in December. Democratic leadership has refused to reopen the government unless they're extended permanently.
I think ideally all of this should have been negotiated in advance. They knew this was happening.
Kelly Fritz among 280,000 people who bought insurance on the state exchange last year, with the federal government subsidizing 80% of the policies at a cost of $328 million. Without the subsidies, many like Fritz will pay thousands of dollars more next year in premiums.
I'm looking at going from $34 a month to over $1,000 a month without the tax credits. I think it's disappointing that paying workers is being pit against health insurance.
Congresswoman Brittany Patterson agrees. She held an event to help federal workers like Karsten make ends meet, but worries Coloradans like Fritz won't be able to afford insurance without the subsidies.
It's just untenable for families, and so that's why we're fighting so hard to put the pressure necessary to extend these tax credits.
Credits lawfully present non-citizens were eligible for until the Big Beautiful Bill, which Democrats want to repeal.
Democrats are using these enhanced premium tax credits as a smokescreen.
Congressman Gabe Evans says the subsidies, which cost more than $100 billion a year, are unsustainable and shouldn't be tied to reopening the government.
We know how devastating this shutdown is for our military, but for all federal workers. And so it's absolutely critical that we get the government funded.
There is a bipartisan bill that would extend the subsidies 1 year, but Republican leadership hasn't brought it to the floor, and Democratic leadership calls it a non-starter anyway. They also want assurance from Republicans that President Trump won't unilaterally undo any funding, as he's done with other money appropriated by Congress. Speaker Mike Johnston has warned this could be one of the longest shutdowns in American history. That federal employee you heard from, Brenda Karsten, told me nobody is going to win from this one.
Yeah, so much concern and so much unknown as this continues.
Right.
Sean, thank you.